A canon event in what seems like every beginner photographer's journey is deciding that you need to buy a film camera. And I am currently in that era of my journey. I recently bought the Minolta SRT 200 with a 50mm f1.7 prime lens and an 80 to 200mm zoom lens off a Facebook Marketplace for $80. All the photos I'm going to show you guys today were taken with the 50mm lens because I have been too afraid to switch out the lenses. I don't know why, it seems so daunting, but maybe eventually we'll get there. Both lenses are fully manual. This camera is from 1975, I believe. So there is a battery-powered built-in light meter in the camera, which is what I use to measure for my exposure in all of my photos that you'll see. For my first roll of film, I decided to go with the Kodak Gold 200, partially because it was economical, relatively speaking. Film's really expensive.
It'll be good for the economy.
And also because I liked the examples that I had seen online of the photos that this film produces. I like the warmth that it provides, and I feel like it is just a nice example of classic film. At least in my opinion, someone who doesn't really know that much about film. So purists out there, don't come for me. The ISO on this film is 200. That's what the 200 means if you aren't familiar with different films. So it's made to be used in situations with bright lights, sunny days, things like that. So today we're going to be going through that first roll of film, and when I say it was a mixed bag, results-wise, I mean they were mostly dog shit. So every time I went to take a picture with my film camera, I felt like the three things that I had to pay extra attention to as opposed to with my digital camera. These three things you have to pay attention to with digital too, but it just felt more important with film because I didn't want to waste shots. With digital, you can, take the picture, look at it, regroup, and do it again if you aren't photographing something that is just a fleeting moment. But with film, I felt like I needed to pay attention to my composition, my focus, and my lighting, or my light meter. I honestly, I struggled with all three. It's definitely taking some getting used to with film. But in these photos, for example, my composition was just a little off. I think I was too focused on getting the focus right or making sure that I was paying attention to the light meter. And then my composition suffered, and also, spoiler alert, my focus and lighting weren't always that good either. And then in the photos where I made sure I focused on my composition, I would miss either my focus or the lighting would be slightly off or whatever. It was rare to get the triad with all three. So because I was trying to focus on these three things with every shot, and sometimes succeeding, sometimes not, I felt like my approach to taking photos changed a bit, and what I was photographing changed. I usually don't do a whole lot of like natural landscape or architectural photography. I like doing shots with people more, and street photography, things like that. If you're new here, this is what my normal style looks like with my digital camera. But with the film camera, I felt like I needed more time. I needed more stagnant things to photograph. It changed the way that I saw what I was photographing. The same things didn't catch my eye when I had my film camera in my hand versus my digital. In some instances, I think it was actually maybe a good thing that, I had to see things a different way. It's always good to get a different perspective on things. But in some instances as well, it just resulted in bad photos. I don't know if it's because, like with my digital camera, maybe I would take the same photos and then just delete them and never have to show them to anybody. And then with film, they're there. I can't delete them. Once it's done, it's done. I don't have to show you, but it also wouldn't be very honest of me if I only showed you the good photos. So, who knows if it is actually the film camera that is changing things, or if it's just like making me look at the photos that I don't normally have to look at. So despite the definite learning curve and, you know, a lot of photos that didn't turn out the way I wanted, I did actually get some that I was decently happy with. My favorite one from the roll actually ended up being this really underexposed shot of my Christmas tree. I'm not gonna say it is, you know, like a good photo by typical photography standards or whatever, but something about it is really aesthetically pleasing to me. I like the way that the lights pop. I don't know, it's actually my phone background right now. I liked it that much. Maybe you feel differently, you can let me know down in the comments. These other shots that I ended up liking, they were crisp, they were, you know, clean composition wise. I really liked the way that they turned out. I just thought that they were solid photos, and I'm hoping that I can, you know, look at these ones, see what I did in these that I didn't do in the other ones, and take that into my next roll and keep improving. So even though I only ended up with a few photos that I really liked, I did like using Kodak Gold 200. It's a nice film stock for me aesthetically. I like the warmth, which is interesting because I actually don't use a lot of like warm tones when I edit my digital photography, but I just like the kind of vintage feel that the Kodak Gold warmth provides, and I just think it's a nice effect for the kind of pictures that I take with the film camera, like the more landscape, less people-focused photography, less urban photography. So I think after I get through the current roll of film that's in my camera, that Cinestill 400D, I'll probably go back to Kodak Gold. It seems like it'll be one that I really enjoy using. So that's gonna wrap up the video for today. I thank you guys if you've made it this far. As always, like and subscribe. If you like this format for reviewing the photos, let me know. If not, give me suggestions down in the comments and I'll see what I can do for the next time. Thanks guys. Catch you in the next one.